Next on Worcester News tonight, a public hearing in Spencer helped selectmen decide whether to support a medical marijuana dispensary in town. Plus, a special screening at Holy Cross on Crusader legend Gordie Lochbaum, what the football star had to say. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. A Worcester veteran honored for his service today is given a keepsake of his time in the Navy. Congressman Jim McGovern recognized Thomas McGrath's military service to our country. McGrath represented the United States on the USS Boston across the world and continued to serve the community here in central Massachusetts. McGrath served in the Navy in the 1950s. During his service, he was given a wool Navy bunk blanket. Years later in the 1970s, McGrath used the blanket to cover a woman who was hit by a car on Clark Street. McGrath says he never saw the blanket again after the woman was taken away by ambulance. Today, he was given a replica blanket by Congressman McGovern in a surprise ceremony with his family.
Think about, nobody told me nothing. I says, thanks. My kids, my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, grandchildren.
In recognition for not only his act of kindness, but for all the good things that he has done for our community over the years. And I think it was a really nice thing to do for him, and it certainly was something that his family wanted to see happen.
McGrath says he will take good care of the blanket and joked it will stay under lock and key. Good news for Worcester. City Manager Edward Augustus announced Monday the city has received its highest ever municipal bond rating. Fitch Ratings upgraded the city from a AA- to a AA. Augustus says an upgrade can potentially save taxpayers millions when the city uses bonds to pay for schools, roads, and other infrastructure and capital projects.
Their confidence in the financial stability of the city and in our future position is very optimistic, and so they've raised the bond rating, which means that it's going to lower our cost of borrowing. So over the course of years, this potentially means millions of dollars in lower borrowing costs for the city.
New data shows Worcester's property values are on the rise. City Manager Edward Augustus says it's a sign more and more people want to live and work here. The new valuation is out just weeks before city councilors set tax rates. Our Rosalind Flaherty takes a closer look.
There's a strong demand for housing in the city of Worcester.
Worcester property values are up by more than $1 billion. It's the largest single-year increase in more than a decade.
The fact that there's so much demand for property is driving up the valuation. If there's the supply and demand.
According to the city assessor, the value of apartment buildings rose the most.
Sales that have occurred on our larger apartment buildings and the income generated, the rental income from those properties, has increased over the last few years, and we're interpreting that.
George Russell is both a city councilor and a real estate broker. He says when the city council adjusts the tax rate, it might affect one category more than the other. This year, apartment buildings rates may rise more than residential single-family homes and business properties.
The city council in the last couple of decades has said that they think that the residential should be favored. And I agree with that. I think that the residential property owners, especially single-family homeowners and three-family homeowners and those kinds of folks that own or occupy properties, deserve to have a tax rate that's not as high as some of our big industrial users, because the big industrial users obviously can afford it better.
City Manager Edward Augustus says having the property value go up is a mixed blessing for the taxpayer, because when value goes up, so do taxes.
It also means that your property's worth more. And then if you go to sell it or you go to take out a loan against your property, there's more value there.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
Violence and chaos erupts on Ohio State University's campus today after police say a man purposely drove at pedestrians and then started stabbing people with a butcher knife. The attacker was killed by police. He's identified as a student of the school. The attack has college students and campus police here in central Massachusetts on alert. Bernie Schaefer has more.
We're always aware and we're always expecting the worst.
Paxton Police Chief Robert DeRogers says when it comes to protecting students on college campuses like Anna Maria, his officers are always on alert.
It's a daily or weekly or monthly reminder that there is no place that's exempt from the possibility.
When is it going to stop? You know, These are innocent people.
The latest incident of violence, an attack at Ohio State University. Police there say at least 9 people were injured Monday morning. Authorities confirming a suspect was shot and killed. The scene was reportedly secure within an hour and a half.
It sounds like they had done regular drills, they had good plans, they had mass instant communication.
Chief DeRozier says his department conducts regular training. He also looks closely into mass casualty events like Ohio State's and says he will learn from what went right and what could have gone better.
What motivates people, what helped people survive, what works best. Be looking for anything that was found out as a result of it that we could do better on our own campuses.
The violence at Ohio State is concerning for college students who say tragedies like this happen far too often on campuses just like theirs.
It's awful that you could just be walking to class and for no reason be attacked by somebody who's clearly distressed for a lot of reasons that have nothing to do with you.
It's startling, and your stomach drops and you think that could have happened to someone I love. That could have happened to me.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
UMass Memorial Medical Center in Worcester is among 3 Massachusetts hospitals cited by the Food and Drug Administration for not properly reporting patient deaths that may have been caused by medical devices. According to an inspection report released by the FDA, inspectors observed in December the Worcester Hospital did not submit a medical device report within 10 days after becoming aware patients were infected with the same strain of illness. In a statement, the medical center says we notified both the Department of Public Health and the manufacturer in February of 2013 when we identified that infected patients had procedures using duodenoscopes. After a thorough investigation, we were never able to isolate the source, so we did not think filing the form was required. Also cited were Brigham and Women's Hospital and Massachusetts General Hospital. A special screening at Holy Cross Monday night highlighted Crusader legend Gordie Lochbaum's football career. The short film, The Throwback, produced by ESPN, shows how Lockbaum attracted national attention when he became a finalist for the Heisman Trophy both in 1986 and 1987. Our Catherine Andrilli was at tonight's screening and has the story.
Gordie Lochbaum made history on the football field at Holy Cross. Monday, his storied career was highlighted in a short film soon to be released by ESPN.
Well, ESPN doing an event like this and doing a short is a tremendous honor, I think, for me, but also for the school. It brings some recognition to the school, to the football program, and to athletics in general.
Dozens packed into Celos Theater for a screening of The Throwback, a 30 for 30 film by ESPN. It tells the story of Lochbaum's career at Holy Cross, including his 2 bids for the Heisman Trophy in 1986 and 87. Student athletes, alumni, and members of the athletic department got a glimpse of the film before its online debut next week.
I always thought that this was such a great, quick story to tell that a lot of people in the digital age haven't heard yet.
Mike Philbrick worked on the film for ESPN. He's a Holy Cross alum and says this story brings recognition to both Lochbaum's career and to the Holy Cross athletic department.
To have someone from Holy Cross be a candidate for the Heisman Trophy was a pretty big deal.
Lochbaum was recognized during his career as a versatile player whose ability allowed him to play on both sides of the field. His athleticism earned him national recognition, and he says he cherishes the memories made during his time at Holy Cross and his teammates who have become lifelong friends.
I look back at my career on more of a holistic standpoint, being on a team, practicing every day, spending a tremendous amount of time with the same guys, and we were able to have a real special bond and relationship.
The film will debut on December 5th, and it's a timely release during both Heisman Week and on the 30th anniversary of Lochbaum's first Heisman nomination. At Holy Cross, Catherine Andrioli, Worcester.